Welcome to Polypulse, your daily South African political pulse. Today, the Madlanga Commission is back in the spotlight, and there are fresh revelations about state capture that you need to hear. Stick with me for the breakdown. Here's what's happening. Click, like, and subscribe. Roll the clips.
You deal with that from your paragraph 14 and into paragraph 15. The questions set out in paragraph 2.2 are lengthy, but basically they required you to explain or provide an explanation on the history or relationship, whether direct or indirect, with certain persons listed in the Schedule A to the 10.6 notice. And you were requested, as you provide that information, to answer specific questions relating to such relationships set out in paragraphs 2.2.1 to paragraph 2.2.7. Your response, as I say, starts from paragraph 14, and if you could read that into the record, and then from paragraph 15, under different 4 sub-paragraphs, you deal with your relationships with different persons. So when the time comes, we will take it in terms of each individual identified, and then we'll read that particular portion into the record. For the moment, I invite you to deal with paragraph 14.
The following.
So are you not going to do what you've been doing, which is to read, so you won't read 2.2.1?
The 2.2, the question really is at 2.2, to explain your history and or relationship, direct or indirect, with certain listed officials. Then it required him, in his response, to provide the following information: when and how you met each individual, the nature and description of the relationship, the nature and extent of and frequency of communications, the nature, extent, and frequency of physical meetings, whether you have exchanged information with such persons, and whether he has been offered gifts, gratification, money, and whether he has been requested or been offered any favors by any of these individuals. So the questions listed from 2.2.1 is in respect of each individual listed in Annexure A. And that Annexure A appears from page 7.
Okay, all right.
Thank you,
Thank you.
So if you could then, as I said, deal with your paragraph 14.
The following SAPS officials are my co-accused in the criminal case with respect to the SAPS Medicare tender, and as such, I'm unable to respond to the questions posed relating to them on the basis that I do not wish to incriminate myself. As already alluded to above, the criminal case is still pending and awaiting adjudication in court. General Fani Masemola, Brigadier Rachel Majeng, Brigadier Alfuios Timkosi Ngema, Brigadier Patrick Natengwe, Brigadier Kesti Yonker, Brigadier Petunia Riabezu Lenono, Brigadier Onika Offensive Tlwadi, Colonel Anton Paulson, Colonel Natsenge Johannes Munyai, Colonel Nonjabudo Nomfundo Mgadi, Colonel Tumisho Nehemiah Maleka, Captain Brian Neville Cartwright, and Major General Busisiwe Precious Temba.
You then, from paragraph 15, deal specifically with 4 people. At 15.1, you address matters of your relationship with Minister Senzo Mchunu. At 15.2, you deal with your relationship, if any, with General Pashani. At 15.6, misnumbered as 14, at 15.6 is your relationship with General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. At 15.3, Lieutenant General Molefe Fani. And at 15.4, with Major General Feroz Khan. And that concludes your testimony in regard to the relationships, the relationships you have with the various persons listed at Annexure A. You confirm that?
Yes, I confirm.
Now, looking at your paragraph 14, you have listed 13 persons there that you say are your co-accused in the Medicare 24 contract.
Yes.
and you request, in extending your privilege, that you not be required to comment or testify about any relationship you may have with any one of them.
Of course.
So, if we go to page 7, though, I realize that if one has regard to the 13 that you request that you not be questioned about because they are your co-accused in the Medicare 24 contract, we'll look at those you deal with at paragraph 15. It still does not conclude the list at page 7. Would you please go to page 7 of that file?
I'm on it.
I'll give you an example. Your item 5 requested you to speak to any relationship you may have with Lieutenant General Shadrach Sibia. Item 8 requested the same of Lieutenant General Sintumule. 9 with former General Tema. 10 Major General Leseja Sinona, and so it goes. So there are persons in Annexure A that you have not included in your statement. Why is that?
Yeah, these are the people that will be added in the supplementary affidavit.
Why did they not form part of the statement? Because you do not explain, at least as far as I can see, in your statement that you will, if I may just complete this, that you will be addressing the remainder of the persons identified in Annexure A at a later stage in a supplementary affidavit.
Yes, I was just only referring to my co-accused. So these people here are not my co-accused.
No, sorry, perhaps I wasn't very clear. I'm saying, if we look at the people at 14, you say these are your co-accused.
Yes.
But then you go further at 15, you deal with others who are not your co-accused.
On paragraph 15.
From paragraph 15, 15.1 to 15.4. As I read them out, it's Minister Senzo Mkunu, that's not your co-accused.
Yes.
Former General Pashani, Lieutenant General Mkwanazi, Lieutenant General Fani, and Major General Feroz Khan. So, besides the fact that you don't deal with the ones you say are your co-accused, which is a different issue, you appear to have made a selection from Annexure A as to which relationship to talk about. And I point out that, for instance, you completely ignored the request that you talk to your relationship with Lieutenant General Shadrach Sibia, who's listed under 5, to Lieutenant General Kosi Sentumule, listed under 6, and Major General Sinona under 10, former General Sandra Tema under 9, Major General Shibiri under 12. So my question was, besides the fact that I hear you will not deal with your relationship with your co-accused, you have gone further to make a selection to deal with only 5 of the remaining persons whose names appear on Annexure 5, and have chosen to ignore completely the other persons, with no explanation in your statement as to why that is the case. And I'm inviting you to explain to the commissioners why that is the case.
I will say is because these people, in my supplementary affidavit, it will explain further why I didn't include them now here. So because there are some reasons, I did that deliberately because I have reasons why I did not include them. But only those reasons will be found in my supplementary affidavit.
Are you in a position to share the reasons now and the detail then of the relationship you have with the respective persons to be included in your supplementary? The reasons I'm requesting is why they don't form part of this particular statement. And then you don't have to elaborate on the relationship you have with each one of them.
It will have to do with the recordings which I'm disputing. So I did not want to add them now because I have to now dive deep and explain why I'm saying I'm disputing the recordings, which we still have the transcripts that we still need to transcribe again because of some of them are unofficial transcripts.
So then if I understand you correctly, and I don't want to misunderstand you, anyone appearing at page 7 that you have not dealt with, it's your submission that they are to some extent impacted by or involved in the recordings that you intend to dispute.
Yes.
Is that the
Yes.
basis? I hear you. And that will become apparent when you submit your supplementary statement.
Ms.
And that's your Polypulse brief for today. If this helped you make sense of the madness, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a breakdown. For more South African stories from a youth perspective, check out our sister channel at Mzansi Pulse. I'll see you tomorrow. Stay sharp, South Africa.